Hey guys, I'm here in Yellow Springs, Ohio. This is a town I've made at least a couple videos about before. It's the home of Antioch College, which was a kind of a utopian college founded in the late 1800s, and one of its principles is that students who attend have to pay for at least some of their tuition and room and board by working for the college. Like a lot of small college towns, it has more of an eccentric flair. People call it a hippie town. I don't know if I'd say it's hippie, but it's definitely kind of crunchy. You can see right Black Lives Matter banner across the street here, and a mural, painted here. It's kind of a walkable community in the true sense of the word, or truer sense of the word than what a lot of people around Clarksburg would have in mind. For example, you see right here, bikes painted on the street, and there's a sign when you enter town that says bikes are allowed to use the full road. So bicycle has actually a little bit of precedence over a vehicle in this town. You look around, I guess people could call us hippie-ish if they lack a better word for it. There's little coffee shops, art galleries, boutiques. That's a Mexican restaurant over there. And then you get out into the town, and it's still pretty walkable. I'm on drive-through community here, so one of the neighborhoods, so y'all can see it. That's a city library right there. But one of the problems that this town has, this is a street right here I'll take, is that over the last 10-15 years, property values have started to rise because people like living in these kind of communities. You see, it's still very traditional. It's safe, it's clean, and so a lot of the young adults who would work in these coffee shops, bars, brew pubs, what have you, can't afford to live here anymore, or they struggle with it. So the community has said, why don't we try to use infill to create affordable housing right there? For example, there's a lot that's not built on. I don't know whether it's a demo lot or it's never been built on, but there's still properties within the traditional core of the town that can be built on or rehabbed. I still see buildings here with the windows busted out. It's not perfect. And so the public policy of the town is to encourage infill and affordable housing. Well, the city has made national news, at least in urban planning and urban studies, in the last week because of a contentious zoning meeting where a developer purchased about 65 acres on the edge of town outside the traditional core and announced plans to build about 130 single-family homes. It's zoned for single-family homes, and these would just be your standard cookie-cutter wood frame houses. They're slapped together and probably gonna fall apart in 30 years. Made by a large regional or national developer, and citizens really didn't like it, but there was nothing they could do about it. But then the town council went to them and said, hey, we have this public policy goal of encouraging affordable housing. So can you add some affordable housing to your project? And they said, sure. They took away some of the single family homes and added in, maybe 24 duplexes, which instead of selling for beginning at 300s would sell for $250 each. So instead of 300 per lot, they're getting 500 per lot. When the thing is in Greene County, Ohio, in traditional neighborhoods, you can get a good solid house for half that. It's not really affordable. It's just they're playing the game that a lot of developers play and a lot of town councils wink at, of calling something affordable simply because it's a little bit higher density. And then they said, we'll throw in a park. We'll build a community playground. Well, the kicker is the community playground was built on top of a former dump, and the development plan did not require the developer to get the property tested and cleaned up. And then the real kicker was that the developer said, we're going to give a little bit less than 2 acres to a nonprofit so that they can develop even more affordable housing on it. Well, then it turns out this nonprofit they were going to give the land to was, I think, created or administered by one of the town or the village council people. So they were abusing a nonprofit, or that's the allegation, as the citizens suspected this deal wasn't on the up and up, that perhaps people were using redevelopment and affordable housing as a kind of a straw man in order to get land for some reason. And so a very contentious city council meeting occurred. I don't think that Yellow Springs has a planning and zoning commission per se. The city council has retained that authority and administers all the planning itself. And citizens were very upset, and the reason it became national headlines is because one specific prominent citizen said, if you do this, I promise you, I'm not kidding you, I will take out every business I own in this town. The businessman's name is Dave Chappelle. I guess he's fairly common. People have heard of him before, and I think he's a comedian. So anyway, it just goes to show that the kind of things I've been harping about in Clarksburg happen everywhere, and Dave Chappelle, and the way it was reported in the Dayton Daily News makes it sound like he was against affordable housing, and that got blown out all over the national media, and that's really not what he was complaining about. I mean, maybe that was his ulterior motive, but the deal did not seem legit on the up and up, and the real issue is that if you allow this kind of subtle misdirection of the principles of the town, the next thing you know, you just have a normal suburban, exurban, stick-built, or not stick-built, but just cookie-cutter community, which they don't want. I'm going to stop here, actually, in one of these shops, so y'all have a blessed weekend. I'll holler at you later.